Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to look at this Ninco Mercedes C Class. So if you've been watching this channel, you will know that this car was bought for me by Mrs SlotR for my birthday in May. And this is of course another Warsteiner liveried car. And I do seem to be getting quite a stable of those these days, let's be honest. So I haven't taken this car out, I haven't looked at it or anything yet. It is 50157 catalogue number. Now Ninco, if you didn't know, are still a toy manufacturer, but they no longer make slot cars. You can still pick some old stock up various places. And this one is listed as AMG Mercedes C Warsteiner. So nicely finished cardboard outer sleeve. Ninco model racing car. And the jewel case inside. It's very nice clear plastic, given this must be quite old. It's done quite well. It hasn't kind of gone smoky or anything. So that's all good. So look, that means I really haven't taken it apart. Let's see if we can get this case apart. So interesting thing, there is a piece of paper sort of wrapped around the plastic base. Which has some kind of a tarmacy texture and some tyre tracks on it. The car itself is fairly basic. This is a car from, well, quite a long time ago. There is no date stamp on this at all. If you know when these were made, please leave a comment underneath the video for everybody to see. It is of an era where front axles floated up and down and were floppy, and it's lower detail. It's also got die-cut clear stickers instead of, you know, decals or tampo printing. But that in itself means, you know, you can only catch the edges just in the light. But that means they're fairly crisp decals. Nice little bit of lettering on the tyres as well. They do say Ninco on them. They're not branded to a particular manufacturer. And for what is probably quite a long time ago, I suppose there's a reasonable amount of detail there. The windscreen wiper is pretty good. Quite a small, fairly accurately made Mercedes badge on the front. The grille looks good. Little side air cooler grills. Yeah, I think generally that is pretty good. Made in Spain, and just the two screws, strangely offset there, one at the back and one under there. Now I'm guessing that one and that one hold the body on, and this one have something to do with this engine motor setup in here. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. But let's just put this on the turntable, give it a spin, and I'll give you a little bit of history about the car that this is based on. So this is the Ninco version of the 1996 Mercedes C Class DTM and ITM touring car. There is another version of this car which is done by SlotR. It is a newer interpretation. It has, and I've looked through the pictures, pretty much bang on exactly the same stickers on it. They're tampo printed on. It's a higher quality. It has more definition in the bodywork plastic moulding as well. But other than that, same car. From about 2-3 feet away, you wouldn't know the difference probably. So this particular car, the real one I mean, is a 1996 DTM and ITM, which is International Touring Car Series, Mercedes C Class, which was primarily driven by Jan Magnussen, but it was driven by two other prominent drivers as well. Carrying the number 3, this Warsteiner sponsored car contested every round of both the championships and was usually driven by who was then an up-and-coming Danish driver, Jan Magnussen. Magnussen drove 11 of the 13 rounds that year, securing his best results in his and the car's debut at Hockenheim in 1996, where he came second in the first race and won the second race. The next round at the Nürburgring netted a third place in the second race, but then Magnussen's season kind of went off the boil a bit, and he only picked up in the last 2 rounds. At Sao Paulo and Suzuka, where he scored a third place finish in both of the second races. Mid-season, the car was driven at Silverstone in August by Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya, and in September at the Nürburgring by Ricardo Zonta. All 3 of these drivers went on to do spells in Formula 1, with Montoya having the most success there. Jan Magnussen, who drove this car most, his speciality though really was sports car racing, with 4 class wins at Le Mans and 3 at Sebring. Let's get stuck into it then. Right, let's take a look at the interior first. A little bit of glue residue in there still. Now this has a little bit of rattle to it, but not very much. I think it might be the glass rather than the interior, but that is all nice and securely down. Just that front and rear post to hold that body on, so should be good for a little bit of float there, I think. And when we look in the top, the other end of the body posts are flat, not cupped like Scalextric do. You have to file them off flat on a Scalextric car to get any body float, but that's flat, and that's flat, so it should be pretty good. Other thing to note in here, there's no magnet. There's no magnet to take out. There is just this motor, which is on this little pod now. This is my first time doing this, so I'll just undo these a bit and we'll see what they do. Now this allows the motor to move, although I'm not entirely sure why you'd want to do that, so I'll tighten that back up again, because you don't really want that to move in relation to the axle. In terms of everything else, well, I think that engages pretty well. There is, I mean, it's old and black because this is a new old stock car, but there is grease on everything. That snapping wobbly front axle, not ideal. And that guide is very small. At some point I may pop that out of there and change it up for a Slotting Plus guide. But other than that, I mean, obviously the front axle will probably be okay where it is. Yeah, it's a little bit, it could do with a lift, to be honest. Or it could probably do with a shim in there, but there's not a lot of room. We'll probably have to go with it as it is. These old tyres though, I have to say, while they might be old, they still seem quite supple. They've got this treaded pattern on them. That may or may not be a good thing. Yeah, so not a lot in here really. In terms of stiffness, I guess this chassis is, it's not as stiff as a Scalextric one, but you know, it's not a wobbly old NSR thin thing either. So, and once again, not one indication of a year of manufacture in here at all. And just a 13,000 RPM Ninco motor. I'm sure we could probably up that at some point if we wanted to make this thing go a little bit faster. But that's about that. So I'm going to pop this back together, pop it on the track, see if we can get it to run round. I don't really like the thin copper braid. I shall probably change that out when I change the guide up later on. And we'll see how it goes. And if it's a bit too top heavy, then there's plenty of places to put some weight in if we need to. So the other thing I will do is I will just put it all on the scales just to see how heavy it is. "56 grams, 34 grams, and 22, yeah. So really the top is getting on for as heavy as the chassis. So I think this is probably going to need some weight in it once we get there, just to calm it down a little bit. But you never know. See how it goes on the track. So then, straight out the box, I put some oil on the axles, cleaned off that old grease, put some new grease on. We'll put it around the track and see how it goes. Okay, so it jumped out the slot pretty easy there. Well, other than jumping out the slot once pretty easily, I could see it was kind of skittering in the slot. It could probably do with a better and deeper guide on it. But actually, I was really impressed with that. It was quite a lot of fun. I have had to crank the voltage up, as I say, to 15 volts to get that fairly slow RPM motor a bit more lively. But beyond that, the old tyres were grippy, stuck nicely. Car had quite good balance. I got the hang of getting it to drift a little bit while I was going along there in those first few laps. I am going to pop a little bit of weight, probably in the middle of it, and then I'll come back and try again. So here we are. I've done a little bit of tuning. I've ended up with a 5 gram weight right in the middle, just in front of the motor at the front there. And that makes all the difference. So it is quite a noisy car. That is just the inline gearing. I'm sure I could get a bit of car polish on there and bed those in and make it a little bit quieter. Might be able to just, a bit of silver tape might quieten down the echo in the body as well. But other than that, with the 5 gram weight just in the middle, this car handles really nicely. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it at all. I think I like it the way it is. It's just a fun little car. It's never going to break any records, but it is fun to drive. And that's what it's all about. So let's do just that. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch one of my videos. If you liked it, you will find a button specifically for that. Please subscribe to the channel, it's free and it really does help. And if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video.